Good evening, traders. This is Dan here at AITG. Glad to see you all aboard this evening. That is, if you're in the Eastern U.S., it's evening. We're about 8 p.m. tonight. And I'm going to start with our obligatory 60-second disclaimer, and then I've got a special surprise for you afterwards. Here's our disclaimer. Number one, we are not licensed financial advisors or broker-dealers. We do not tell you when or what to buy or sell. We develop trading software which allows you to conveniently manage multiple trades simultaneously, both on an individual pair basis as well as on an overall account equity basis. Our trading systems allow you to set the criteria you want for entering and exiting trades. Number two, do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Number three, we do not guarantee consistent pips or that anyone can make money with no effort, and we are not selling the Holy Grail. Number four, every system can have winning and losing streaks. Number five, money management plays a large role in the results of your trading. For example, lot size, account size, broker leverage, and broker margin call rules all have an effect on results. Also, your take profit and stop loss settings for individual pair trades and for overall account equity have a major impact on results. If you are new to trading and do not understand these items, then we recommend you go to babypips.com and study there for a while and then come back to us. Well, the surprise I had for you this evening is we have with us tonight our senior programmer, Mr. Gene Tetzloff, is with us, and he is going to be going over with all of us the upgraded dashboard, which has some dramatic improvements in it, as well as a couple of new trading systems that we've designed that we think are going to be very exciting for you to see. So without any further ado, I'm going to transfer this over to Gene, and he will be able to start his presentation right now.
Okay, which screen are you seeing there, Dan?
We see the spaceships, 4 spaceships.
Okay, I gotta get to the right screen here, just a minute.
Hey, while Gene's setting up, let me give a hand raise if you guys can hear us tonight, please.
Okay,
Earl, Jimmy, Lawrence,
Michael, and waiting on Mark.
Now, Dan.
Pardon me?
Get the dashboard now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Are we all set?
Yes, sir. We're set.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, guys. Glad you could all make it tonight. See, we got a nice turnout. We'll talk a little bit here. We'll try to make it as quick as we can. This is the new version 2C. From the front, you don't notice much difference. Now, I'm going to look at the properties here. There's a couple changes in the properties I made. I believe it was Michael Lawrence. I think he's here tonight. He wanted a couple changes here. Made these into decimals, so now you can, they were integers before, so you couldn't use a decimal point multiplier for the ADR. That was my mistake. I assigned them as an integer rather than as a decimal number, so we changed those. And we also added these down here, and these are presets for the take profit button and the stop loss button. So normally, close this out for just a minute here. When you open these, like I'm on the 0.1 lot size, this will come up when you open it as $100, and then of course you increment it to where you want to go. Same way with the stop loss one. If you're on the 0.01 lot up to the 0.1 lot, then these will come up as $10, and then you got to click the little arrows. So what we got now is you can put a starting point in here so you don't have to do so much clicking over there. So say you wanted to start it, we just put 32 in there for the take profit, and say we put 55 for the stop loss. You still got to turn the buttons on. I'm not going to turn the buttons on for you because I don't want them coming on automatically. But now when you turn them on, now you come up with 32 starting point, and your stop loss is a 55 starting point. Now remember, these numbers are always added to whatever your basket equity is. So if you got like a basket, you can turn these on anytime you want, even during trades when they're open. If you're trading a basket, and say your basket equity is say $100, you're up to $100 to the good, and you hit this button right now with 32 on it, it would put your take profit at $132. It always adds this number to whatever your basket is at the time, and it would put your stop loss $55 below the 100, so that'd be $45 would be your stop loss. So if it comes back down to $45, it would stop out, and if it goes up to $132, you would end up with a take profit. So that's basically what those do now. And I'm just going to hit reset here to get rid of them. And there's one more magic setting on here. I know a lot of you, when you bring up your graph, and it always keeps going against you where you got a mountain of red. You say, geez, if I could only do it opposite that, I would have been rich, because turn all that red into green. Well, that ain't really true, but I gave you a setting here so you can, if you want to, try it. Opposite trade. You set that to true, and whatever trade the TS tells it to take. So if the TS that you have on out there, like the HAST or whatever, tells it to take a long trade, Dashboard will take the opposite trade. So now those mountains of red losers, you should be able to turn those into mountains of green gainers, right? If you believe that, you're as crazy as I am. But that's what that does. So you just set that to true. And the way you can tell that's set to true is, you notice right now the PL button up here, or the PL, it's not a button, but the label up here is blue. If I set this to true, and we hit OK, it turns to a gold color. So this tells you that you are in opposite trading mode. So whenever you get a long signal, Dashboard is going to go short. When you get a short signal, the Dashboard is going to go long. Now, one thing about this, the way the TSs are set up, they do not, like if you set up a take profit and a stop loss over in the TS, that does not get put on until this trade is executed. So the TS will watches for the trade that it placed to be executed, and then it looks at that trade and says, is that a buy trade or a sell trade? And then it puts on the proper stop loss or take profit, whatever you got set up. So it doesn't matter if the TS sends a long signal and this takes a short signal, the TS will set up accordingly to correct for it go in the opposite direction. The TS always waits for the trade to be put on. If the trade never gets put on, you know, you could have a red arrow or a green arrow here, and if you don't have any buttons selected or this turned on, the trade will never get put on. The TS will never see the trade, and it will not put any kind of take profit or stop loss. It always watches for the signal coming back basically from the broker saying that the broker has placed the trade. You now have a live trade, and now the TS will say it's a long or short. Now I can do what I'm supposed to do to it. So that's basically those. Let's go back over here and turn that off. I usually just hit reset and it brings everything back to default. Okay. Now the other thing we've added is the Heatmap button down here. You can call it Heatmap, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with heat maps. Basically, they tell you which currency is strong, which currencies are weak, and then you try to pair them up. Put a strong currency against a weak currency, you know, and depending on what side, if it's the base pair or whatever, if you take a buy or a sell. And if you do a search on the internet for Forex heat maps, you will get all kinds of them. 1,000,001. And I've looked through a lot of them, and I bet you I've never found two of them that said the same thing. So now that's kind of what the heat map is based on. And here I can show you something else probably familiar with, which you might have seen. And this is just a 1 hour chart, but you're probably all familiar with the CCFP, which is an indicator out there that gives you all these little squiggly lines. And this kind of tells you, in this case, it's a 1 hour chart, which currencies are strong, which ones are weak, and then you can pair them up with each other. Like here, the green one, that's the dollar. The dollar is real strong, and you try to pair it up with another one, like the light blue one here was the euro. So that would be kind of telling you maybe you want to buy the dollar euro. Of course, is there a dollar euro? But that's how you pair them up. Nope. See, so that shows you how much I know. There's no dollar euro. So you would try to pair them up that way using these things. And also you would like the US dollar here to be going up. If it's starting to turn over and come back down, then the dollar is getting weaker. Same way with the one on the bottom. You like the spread between them to be increasing. Like I was just using an example here of the dollar euro, which is no pair. There's no pair such pair, but you can see here it's getting stronger that way. But you could do is you could sell the euro dollar. So you could sell the euro dollar on that one if you wanted to. But this is just one of the many indicators that are out there that give you some idea. You got the numbers over here. Basically, all the numbers tells you is what the value of this line was on a previous candle, 2 candles back, and then it tells you what the value was 1 candle back, and then it tells you what the difference is. And you can see here the value on both candles was exactly the same, so there is no difference. And you can see that here, it's flat. So the value was the same. These other ones here, you can see a little bit of a difference. But that's basically what a lot of people do. They use something like this, and then they look at the squiggly lines and pair up the currencies, and then gives them an idea which ones they should be buying or which ones they should be selling. Well, now what we've done in our, close that chart, what we've done over here is use something similar to that and actually improved on the algorithm a little bit to make it a little bit more, a little bit more selective. And we've created our own heat map over here. And if you click on the button, it brings up your heat map. And in this case, it comes up with the 60-minute one. That's the default, and you can change it. Click the down arrow, you can go down to 30. You can go all the way down to 1, which I don't know if it's any good or not, but and you can always go up to the monthly. So you can go from the monthly all the way down to the minute one. Same as all your times up here. So you got all those same times down here. So if we go back to the 60 here, it comes up like this. First, I got too many clicks on here. Just a minute, I'm going to undo this. First click, when you click the button, it comes up blue, and it just gives you the chart to look at. It doesn't affect anything up here. This is just for looks, so you can look at it and see if you think anything. One thing nice about this, when you bring it up like this, you can look at it, and if you look over here and you see all the pound pairs are all green, you may want to say, well, geez, maybe I want to buy a pound basket or something, just trade a pound basket if they're all in the green. Now you notice here, you got green and red bars, but you also got green and red and yellow names. What that means is, if this is green, like the Swiss yen here, the name is green, the bar is green, that means that's a good indication. This green name is confirming basically the green bar is telling you that it is actually moving in that direction. If it's yellow, it means it could be, you know, long, but it could be in a consolidation or not moving, or it could even be coming back down. So the idea is to trade with the bars as green, and you get confirmation from the name. Now, if you get one of these like this here, it gets pretty close to the end. As you know, on our graph up here, here, I'll turn it on a minute. You notice when you first turn it on, it always goes up to like $5 and down to $3.25. And then as you get green or red, if it goes past the bottom, this rescales. This will do the same thing down here. There's no numbers here, but if this red one gets too close to the end, all of these will rescale to shrink this one back down a little bit, because you don't want the bar running across the screen. So this will reshrink. So basically all you're interested in is how they compare to each other in length. Right now, this one is the longest one. So, well, this one here is close too. So those are pretty close. So if these actually got longer, then this chart, these bars would all shrink back a little ways, because otherwise your bars are going to run off the end of the screen. So just be aware of that. But it's the reference, how they compare to each other, is what you're more or less interested in. And like I said, the green and the green. If this is green, the bar is green. This is yellow. You probably want to leave it alone. But that's the first click on the button. Now you would say, okay, I want to look at these. I'm going to pick some pairs. And like Roger was doing in an earlier webinar, he was going up here and say, okay, let's take the New Zealand Swissy short. So he'd go down here and click the button. Say, I'm just going to take him short because this is telling me he's just a good short. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. Set him back. Now all you got to do is click the button the second time. You'll notice it does it for you. There you can see the Swiss yen. It's telling us along. The Euro yen and the Euro New Zealand right here. And here we got the New Zealand Swissy short. It does it all for you. Now in this mode, it acts like a filter. So now I can still use a TS on another chart. And then of course you turn on the TS button. Like you could have your HAS on all your charts, and you could use this as a final filter for direction if you wanted to. That's with a TS. Now, there's one more step here. In this step, you would have to make sure you don't have any charts open with any TSs on. You can have a chart open like this, but you can't have a TS on it sending any signals back because it's going to interfere with this next step. But on this next step now, you click this again, and you notice the button turns red. Now we're taking trades. Sure, you got to have your TS turned on, and you got to have all your buttons turned on over here. Turn on the 28s unless you don't want to trade all 28. I'm not going to turn on the timer up here because I don't want it taking any trades right now. But as you can see, now it gives me arrows over here, and these arrows match up with what's over here. So now what I'm doing, all I'm doing is trading the heat map. And these are my entries. It's going to give me a signal. It gives me a signal just like the TS. It comes in through the TS. So that's why I'm saying you can't have charts open. You can have charts open as long as they don't have nothing on them. But if you open up a bunch of charts and they have like a TS, like the HAS, and the HAS is sending a signal back here, it's going to interfere with this one. The only time you want to do it that way is if in this mode, then use this as a filter with this in the blue button. Now you can use the HAS to send a signal, and when the HAS signal or whatever TS you're using matches up with what's ever over here, you will get a trade. But in this mode, remember, it's strictly you're trading just this. You don't need any pairs opened up other than what the dashboard is on. You can trade them as a basket or do whatever you want with them. And let her rip. And you can also, if you want to trade the 30-minute, there's your 30-minute trades right there. Now this will update every time, like in this case 30 minutes. When we get a new 30-minute candle, this will update. If you're on the 1 hour, when you get a new 1 hour candle, this will update. So whatever time frame you're on here, this will automatically update. And if you're like in this mode or just the filter mode or whatever, this mode, this will update. You won't get nothing up here because we're just in the look at mode. If you're in the filter mode, these will also update right now every hour. And if you're in the trading mode, everything, these will update. These will update every hour. So every hour you will get maybe some new trades unless they don't change. But just one thing to remember about this looks at history. It's lagging just like everything else. We have no crystal ball here. We can't read the future, so we have no idea. When you see one like this, you know, say this was green and this is green, you go, it could be at the end of a long run. It could be getting ready to turn and go the other way. We don't know that because we can't read the future. So you may want to go look at the chart. Like, let's pick one here. What are we on? We're on 60-minute. And we can go look at this. What's the yen? See, the Swiss yen is telling us long. And we go up here to the Swiss yen. And it's telling us trade long, which maybe that could be a good long trade. We maybe reached the bottom down here. We're on a 1 hour chart. That might be okay. You know, that's where you got to use a little common sense. Of course, we're running, looks like we're running into a little bit of resistance across here. Might be a little bit. But that's where your brain comes into use. You got to second guess some of these. And that's also where the alert mode comes in over on the TS. If you use the alert mode, then you will get, remember, you will get a yellow arrow here, and you can get an alert sent to your phone or an email alert sent to you, and then you can come back and look at it and see if it's a good trade. And if it is, it looks like a good trade, open it up so that way you bring in a little bit of your expertise into the thing. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up for that. Turn that off. I'm just going to put everything back, and then we'll go to one of the new TSs here. We'll start with the wrinkle because that's fairly simple. Now, you all know how to build wrinkles, I hope. Remember, you got to have this wrinkle builder in your indicator folder, which was in the zip file we sent you. So make sure that's in there. And also in your template folder, make sure you got the wrinkle chart builder and the wrinkle chart templates. They got to be spelled. Don't change the spelling them or anything like that. These are the two that the dashboard uses. Uses these two for templates, uses this one as the builder itself. So it makes it real simple to build wrinkles. We'll just get into building one here to start. Say on the pound Aussie, oops, you want to do that just a minute. I'll close out these charts, get rid of these charts. There we go. Okay, I'm going to highlight the pound Aussie button. You just turn on a button. And this is what I usually do first. I get one pair set up the way I want it and then save those templates. Then all you got to do is hit the build wrinkle button, and there you go. Now up here it tells you what your brick size is, 14 on this one. Now remember, if we go back to the M1, this is where that indicator is that you have to have, the AITG Wrinkle Builder version 1. And if we open it up, you notice I've got it set at calculate best box size. That's why it came up with 14. I think I'll move this down here. Tells you right there 14. Or you can use a fixed box size. Just set this to false. Set this to whatever you want. The default on here is 10. Now for this particular TS, this wrinkle TS, you have to have the wicks turned off. Do not turn the wicks on, because if you turn the wicks on, it's going to screw up the calculations, and we don't know what kind of results you'll get. So leave all the defaults. The only thing you want to change is maybe the box size, and if you do, then turn off. Make sure this is set to false. But this is based on the ATR, which then readjusts the box size for every pair according to what the ATR is. And from the ones I looked at today, it varies from 5 pips in a brick up to about 15 for the biggest mover. So the range today is about 5 to 15 if you put this in the auto mode. But this is your M1 chart. So if you make any changes to it or whatever you want to do, take and save that template as the wrinkle chart builder. That's the one it gets saved under, because this is the M1. So that's where you'd save that one. Now if you go to the next chart, this is where we would set up whatever you're going to put on here. In this case, this is the new AITG wrinkle breakout TS. Now, if you're going to use any TSs on here from us, they got to have the name wrinkle in them. I know some of you are going to throw the HAS on here and see what happens. Well, you're at your own mercy. We don't guarantee it's going to work, because looking at numbers and doing calculations on bricks are a little bit different than on a time-based chart. And as you know, this is not a time-based chart. As you can see, I do have my day separators on here. And as you can see, some days you'll get more movement, more bricks. Other days you get very few, less. So that's why it's not a time-based chart. And up here it tells you what the brick size is. It looks and calculates what your brick size is. So up here you can look so you know right away what it actually is. And actually if you go down and measure it, there's 12. So your brick size in this case is 12. It's calculated out. Now the fractals, I just put those on there. Normally they're not on there. Normally they would be off. This is how it would come up. But I just wanted to show you where these lines come in. And I'll put them back on there so you can see fractals. That's where these lines are drawn. And now this would have been a buy right here. It waits for a brick to close, and then it'll enter the trade. Now the settings for this thing, you can either do a fixed take profit if you want to. Your only choice for a stop loss is a jumping stop loss. In this case, if it would have taken the trade right here, here we can, oops, just a minute, I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. In this case, if it would have taken the trade here going long, it would have put a stop loss 1.5 bricks below it. And then it would jump. Every time you get a new brick formed, it would jump to the next stop loss place. So that's basically the only stop loss choice you got if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, normally our group here, we usually try to trade baskets. That's a good safe way to trade rather than trying to, you know, put all your money on one pair or something. Baskets are usually safe. As long as you don't get greedy, just go for small baskets. Just keep taking baskets. So that's the jumping stop. You can turn him on. If you want to go for a fixed take profit, you can do that if you want to. Acceleration filter, you're probably familiar with this. This is in some of our other things. What that means is when it forms a new brick, or I mean when the entry here, in order for it to continue on like this here, well, I said this was an entry. Actually, this would not have been an entry if you're looking at it like this, because the price has to go past the height of this brick here if you got the acceleration filter turned on. Because a lot of times in a case like this here, it goes up here and it starts forming another brick. You go down here, it's going down, so it really hasn't accelerated out. So basically that's what the acceleration filter does. Now also, we have the alert mode. I don't know if any of you are using this. This is a good thing. What this does, if you set that to true, you can either turn it on here, which makes it handy because then you can have it turned on all your, all your wrinkle charts because of your template. Once you built the template with it set on true, then it'll put it on all of them. So if this is true, you notice the alert only comes on. So you are in alert mode now. So when this sends a signal back to the dashboard to say take a trade, if we were looking for a trade, you would get a yellow arrow back here, either a yellow arrow going up or a yellow arrow going down. And you can have all the buttons turned on, you can have the trading time turned on, you can have the TS turned on, and if you got a yellow arrow, it will not take a trade. You're in the alert mode. So then what you do, you look at this, you say, I got these are all in alert modes. I'm going to go check them to see if I really want to take the trade. So then what you do is you go over and you look at it and you say, well, is it a good trade or is it a bad trade? If you like the trade, you think it's going to be a good trade, you hit the alert button only, and it will automatically go into the trade mode and send a trade signal back to the dashboard. And now it will take the trades as long as you got everything turned on back here, where I don't right now. But if you have all your buttons turned on and you got this turned on, TS turned on, that yellow arrow will turn to either a red or a green arrow, indicating now you are in a buy mode. You're not in the alert mode anymore. So it's a good thing. So you can have all your TSs that are on your charts set up for alert mode. And then what you can do in the settings, let's see here. If you got alert turned to true, this only affects these down here. So now what you can do, of course, you have to go up into your settings in the MT4 platform, and you can have it send you an email, or you can send a push alert to your phone, whatever you want to do, or a pop-up. And what this will do, it will just send an alert to you. This is separate from the dashboard. You got these same settings back in the dashboard, but the dashboard does not send alerts. The dashboard only sends buys or sells when it took a buy or sell. In this case, it will send you an alert saying you have a buy alert, say on the pound Aussie. Then you come back over and you can look at the dashboard and look at this chart, say I want to take it, click off the alert mode, and it will take the trade. Of course, you don't want to wait too long because the trade may not be any good anymore, so you don't want to wait hours and then come and look at it. And the trade is already a lousy trade. So, but these all work the same across basically all our platforms. I'm going to try to keep all these same buttons on there so they all work the same. The only difference will be is in the settings over here. There may be some settings that are different. Like here we got a jumping stop loss where we don't have that over in the HAS. You know, over there we got a stop loss. And here we don't have the stepping stop loss, you know, the target and the trail here either, because these are wrinkles. So that's why I'm saying be sure when you trade a wrinkle, make sure the TS says wrinkle in it, because I can't guarantee that like the hash or anything else is going to even work correctly, because it's based on different numbers. So, okay, I'm going to do, okay, we'll leave that, leave that set to true. And I'm just going to, yeah, we'll leave the jumping stop on for the heck of it. Don't matter right now, because, and if you want to leave these fractals on there, they're good, because you can look back and say, well, there would have been a fractal right here, and you would have got a breakout right here, and you would have went up, the maximum would have been 107 pips. So you can kind of look back and say, oh, we could have got in here, we could have got in there. Here's another short entry, but you would probably got stomped out on this pullback. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so like I say, you can look back and you can see where there probably would have been a breakout line, but in this case, you could have got, well, you probably wouldn't have got a short signal because it didn't accelerate past it. And you wouldn't have got a long one, but probably down. You wouldn't have got one there either. But, well, yeah, you would have got one there. You would have come in over there. So, but you can look back, you know, and say, well, I could have got a trade over there. So, but you don't need these on there if you don't want them on there. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with them. Okay, so now we got, say we got our wrinkle chart set up the way we want it set up. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll just save. I'm going to save that setup. That is going to be the wrinkle chart template. So we're going to save that. Okay, now we're going to go back over to our chart. I'm going to close all the charts just to get rid of those charts so I don't. And then I'm going to turn on all the buttons. And another thing you notice when you do wrinkle, these buttons change from magenta color to a black color. The reason for that is when you do a wrinkle chart, you always end up with two charts, an M1 chart and an M2 chart. So you're going to end up with 56 charts plus the one the dashboard is on if you do all 28. The reason for the black button is the black button will get you to the second chart, the M2 chart. If you want to look at the M1 chart, you just click this button, it changes back to magenta. Now you can look at the M1. But basically, most of the time, we want to look at the M2. We're not really looked at the M1 because they're all set up the way we want them. So anyway, right now I'm going to open up 28 wrinkle charts, actually 56. So I just highlighted all the buttons. And remember, I saved the two templates exactly how I wanted them set up. So all you got to do is hit the build wrinkle. And makes it easy to build wrinkles. If you built wrinkles in the past, imagine what you had to go through to do that. And there's a wrinkle chart. And you notice across the bottom, they all come with M1. Now, if you wanted to do the M2s, remember you'd have to scroll way over to the right and dig them out, find them that way. But with this, black button always gets you to them. Now here we got an alert. So if you're using it, now if I wasn't using the alert mode, this would be a trade, short trade. These two would be a long trade, but since I'm in the alert mode, it will not take a trade. See, I can even turn on my timer. Trading session open, buttons are all turned on. Spread looks good, no red spreads. TS is turned on, but I'm not taking any trades because I'm gonna go look at these, see if they're any good. So I go over here and click the button. This will get me the M2 charts, the one we want to look at. And it's telling me to go, that was a short trade. And as you can see, I'm getting a signal to go short. And you notice there it took took a little bit to get through to the broker, but it took a short trade because I clicked the alert button off. And there you can see my jumping stop loss. Now, when this forms another brick, this jumping stop loss will move down to the next spot. It'll keep jumping every 10 pips, basically. Well, not 10. This one, brick size is 4. So this must be a small mover. The bricks only ended up being 4 in the automatic setup mode. So that'll keep jumping down every time this forms a new brick. And there's our trade right there. Took off. Put that on. And we can go look at another one here. We got 2 longs here. This is the long possible. We'll look at it. You look at it and you say, do you want to take that long? And I, nope. You leave that one alone. It's up to you. If you wanted to take this trade, all you had to do is hit the alerts button and it would take the trade. It would turn it into a regular trade. Now, if you have the alerts turned off in the settings, then it would automatically just keep trading automatically. But this comes in handy, gives you an opportunity. Here's another possible long to go over and look at the trades and see if you want to take it or not. Now, if you look at this one, this would have been down here, and you would have got up here someplace. This would have been a long, and you would have went up maximum of 85. It just depends on, or you probably got stomped out down here. So, but you could have probably got 65, 70 pips out of that. But that one's only got a brick size of 4. Now, some people use fixed brick sizes, so it's up to you if whatever you want to use. Mainly the fixed ones I use, they range from like 10 to 20, somewhere in that range. They're a good size, but it's kind of up to you. So I'm going to turn this all off for now, and we'll move on to the next one here. Close all trades, get rid of them. Okay, and I'm going to close all my charts down because they're all wrinkles. I don't want any wrinkle charts. Give it a second. There she goes. Turn my buttons back to magenta. And okay, we're going to move on to the next TS that'll be coming out here probably in a week or 2. It depends on how testing goes this week on it. You've probably been seeing some of them over on the Forex Factory, posting on some of them, how they've been going. Let's see, which one should we pick? We'll pick the Pound New Zealand. Okay, here's the Pound New Zealand, our chart. Next TS is going to be coming out is the AITG DM. DM stands for DMARC. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the DMARC lines. Those are trend lines, and supply and demand. So we're going to put that on the chart. And basically, you got a fixed take profit, you got a fixed take stop loss you can use, or you got that trailing stop loss setting pip. Again, you can turn that on. You're all familiar with that. This has been in all the TSs. Basically, these have too. Now, in this one here, we got this extra little thing down here set up. Just a minute, I'll show you what the chart looks like first. Same alerts just like before. You can use alert mode on this too. So you can come and look at it before you jump in a trade, or you can run it automatically. But this is what it looks like. Now I'll get this out of the way so we get a little bit more room. The little red and green dots are just fractals again. These are put on there by the indicator. You don't have to put those on there. You don't have to put anything on there. These are the subdems. You got the supply are red at the top, and you got the green ones are the demand at the bottom. Now we do not, in the indicator, does not use the subdems. They're there for your looks, just to look at and see what you think. Now, here, let's expand this a little more. This one looks like a good one to tell you what this does. Remember, we had breakout lines. We got a green breakout line. If any of you are familiar with the DMARC, how they draw them, you always draw them from the right to the left. You go from the last fractal and you go to the left until you come to the next higher one. You would not draw it down to this one. The upper line has to slope down, the lower line has to slope up. So you start at this fractal, and I get this out of the way, see if we can see where it went to. Yeah, it went back to here. So you start here, this one's no good, this one's no good, they're all lower. Here's the one it found that was higher. So we could get the sloping line down. Those are demarc trend lines. You may want to do a search on the internet. There's plenty of information out there on them. This guy who drew this up. But that's basically it. This has to slope down the top line, the bottom line has to slope up. Now, I was talking about this breakout down here. This is set to false, breakout candle close. So what that's telling me is, you see I broke through the line going up, but I got to wait for this candle to close and the next candle to open before it takes the trade. Candle close above the line. The previous candle has to be closed below the line. So you got to close below the green line, you got to close above the green line, and as soon as this next candle opens, you got a long trade. Now we also got the acceleration filter again. So if this opens right here where it is right now, it will not take a long trade with the acceleration filter on until the price exceeds the high of this candle here. And as you can see, we are close to a supply zone. So you may not even want to trade it because you're close to a point where it may stop or stall. Now we have one other thing here under the breakout. If you'd have to set that to true to use the candle close. Now if you leave that at false, then it looks at buffer pip breakout. And in this case it's set at 2 pips. So as soon as this price breaks the line by 2 pips, it takes the trade. And of course, if you got the acceleration filter on, it has to be above this one, which normally it is because this one's always down under the line anyway. So probably acceleration filter doesn't do you really much good when you're not using the candle breakout. But in this case, close below the line, then as soon as it breaks the line by 2 pips, takes the trade in this case. And you can change this to any number of pips you want. Now we also got auto draw trend lines set to true. Now if you set that to false, it will draw them on here when you turn on the indicator. Now if you set this to false, oops, let me move this up a ways here. It's set to false. These will draw as soon as the indicator when you put it on the first time. But after that, these will stay where they're at. They will not redraw. If you turn the redraw off or on so they redraw, then every time you get another fractal and it's different, be a different line. Say if we get another fractal up here, it will redraw the lines. But with that set to false, what you can do, double click the line and you can move it wherever you want to go with it. So now you can use it for whatever you want to do. So if you want to, set up a breakout point or something like that, you can move them around. Say maybe you want to go breakout point or whoever knows what. Now you got a breakout line. It breaks the top one or breaks the lower one. And the same rules go into effect. It has to, if it's a candle close, you got to have a close below and then a close above. If the candle close is turned off, you just have a candle close and then break the line. So this way you can move these around. Now if you leave the set to false, the auto update, of course then these will jump back to wherever the fractals tell them to be. So if we go back, I'm just going to go back and turn that off. Let's hit the reset, set it back to normal. And I think, like I say, you got the alert mode here. Let's set up the alert mode. Let's set that to true for now, because I want to show you something here. Turn that on. Got alert mode on. Well, one other thing I better make clear here. You notice you got a take profit and a stop loss. They're both set to false. Now, when you open the trade, if there's a live trade on here, and if you got these set to false, like take profit set to false, then you can add your own take profit line. But you got to have a trade open, because you just can't click on this when there's no trade open, because it doesn't know which way the trade's going to end up. So say there's a live trade on here and you don't have this set to true, you can turn it on here, and then you can grab it and move it around wherever you want to go. Same way with the stop loss. Works the same way. But you got to have a trade on here in order for this to work. But if you have either one of these set to true, like the take profit set to true, this will not work. The take profit will not work. If you have the stop loss set to true, the stop loss will not work. And if you have the pip lock here, stop loss pip lock set to true, that's a stop loss. So this stop loss will not work. Also, these buy or sell buttons, those are not add to buttons. Those open a trade. So here, just a minute. Okay, everything's set to false. Let's just save this template. I'm going to save it as my default. You guys all know how to use the default template. Okay, we got it saved as default. And I'm going to go back and see if Pound New Zealand, we'll just turn him on. And you notice it is sending us an alert. This is where I was telling you about alerts before. Remember, we got an alert because we got the alerts turned on. So now you would come in and you say, hey, I got an alert. I'm going to go look at it. And you say, is this a good trade or a bad trade? Let's just pretend it's a good trade. You'd click on the alert button. And eventually, when the broker wakes up, it takes the trade. So now we're in a long trade because I clicked on the buy button. These buttons simulate a trade coming from the TS. So right now, I cannot click on the buy and add another buy. I cannot click on the sell and add a hedging sell. If you want to add anything to this trade, you got to do it back here with the buy or sell buttons. These buttons override everything. No matter whether you got a button selected or a time selected, or the spread is goofy, or the TS is turned on, if you click on one of these buys or sells, it's going to take a buy or sell right now. And like I said, that buy or sell over here is just like simulating a buy or sell. So say if that trade closed, this button here will override everything. This will close them. This doesn't care about anything. It'll close them. Click that. We close the trade. And here's this number down here. If you see this number, this is always your last trade. It stays there unless you refresh the indicator, then it'll erase it. It'll either show you what the value of your live trade is at the present time, or if like this trade closed, it shows me that on that trade I lost 30 cents. And then of course, if you want to see the trade, I don't know, it's a short trade, probably won't see it. See, it's right there. There's that trade right there. This was a previous trade. Remember, red means it was a loser. Green means it would have been a winner. It doesn't mean direction. This was apparently would have been a buy trade, but it went the wrong direction, and it was a loser. And now if we go back over here, you notice we still got the green X here because that signifies that we took a trade on this particular 1 hour candle, which has got about 4.5 minutes to go yet before we get a new 1 hour candle. When we get a new 1 hour candle, this will go away. But now, even though I don't have a trade on, if I go back over here, notice it doesn't work. I can't take a buy because that red or that X is green over there. That's because this simulates a trade. It doesn't add to a trade or nothing. It simulates a trade. Okay, so we save that. We save the template. Okay, now I'm going to show you here. Let's see, clear the buttons. And I'm just going to turn this off for right now. TS is turned on. And you see we got two of them here bugging me. So all I'm going to do is just go to properties and reset and get it, so I get a fresh start. And get rid of the X's. And what I'm going to do is turn on all 28 pairs. And I'm going to open all 28 of those charts. Okay, and you see they come up. I'm in the alert mode. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can just let it trade on its own if you want to. However you want to do it. And you notice how many alerts I got here. These are all alerts. They're telling me possible trade. So let's just go look at one here. Here's the Aussie New Zealand. It's telling me possible long trade. You know, doesn't look like it. Depends on what you want to do with it. We're going up, we are close to a little bit of a supply zone there. But you can see it broke through. Closed. And remember, we're on the just the breakthrough by 2 pips. I think we had. That's all we had to do is break this line by 2 pips, which is right there is where the trade would have actually taken off. So we're actually past that point right now. But here's our close candle below the green line. The green line is one we're looking at. And here's our other one. Now, if we would have had a closed candle turned on, we would not get a signal yet until this candle closed. And then, of course, you got acceleration turned on. It would have had to wait until actually the price went above. But that's what the alert mode does. Look at one more here. There's another one. You decide if you want to take the trade. You just click the alerts button. It turns the alert mode off. What we can do is, let's just change one of these. We'll change the template. I can show you what they're. And we're going to turn off the alert mode. Now, if you want to know how to set up the email and the pop alerts and all this, do a search, because every broker, not broker, but email guy out there, or email account you have is going to be different on how you set these up. And just a minute, I'm going to save this. Hold on a second. So I turn the alert mode off, so now I'm in the trading mode. I'm going to save that as my default. And okay, my default, remember these numbers, they go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my default is number 4. I'm going to change the default. Now I'm going back. And I'm just going to turn off my pair buttons for now. I don't need them on. And I'm going to click on the template button. Remember, my default template is number 4. Put number 4 in there. Click OK. Notice how these all change color? Now we are in the trading mode. If I turn on the TS and I turn on the buttons over here and all that, then it'll take the trade for whatever signals we got over here. So but I don't want to jump in on any trades right now. Okay, so now those, like I was talking about, those email things. Most of you probably know this already. They're up here under options and notifications. You have to set this up for your email account and all that. And like I say, you're better off do a search and find out how somebody else did it, because they're all different. Gmail, Hotmail, you know, all the way stuff you put in here for your notifications for that and for your email over here. So you'll have to find that all out. We don't supply that because everybody's got some different email account. So, okay, so I think that about covers everything. Like I say, the alert mode will give you a chance to go and look at the trade. That way you don't have to, or if you turn it off, you can just let the dashboard do its thing. And also you can, if you're trading with the TS, you can remember you can use the heat map down here as a filter. Second click, now this will be a final filter for it. So whenever a green arrow matches up over here with what this is telling us, the heat map, it will take the trade as long as you got everything turned on over here. But I don't want to jump in on a bunch of trades right now, so it's up to you how you use it. If you remember, if you click it again, now we're trading this. Now you should do is either get rid of all your charts or get this TS off. You don't want to leave this on a chart or any TS on a chart when you're trading the heat map by itself, like we are now. You don't want to leave that on there. So otherwise they're going to interfere with each other because they both come in under the TS column here. So you get kind of erratic results. So I close out all these charts. One other thing to remember, you probably already know already. Remember, in order for these change period and change template buttons to work, remember to set up your hotkeys over here. There they are. Alt-M, Alt-P. If you forget what they are, they're right here on the button. It says Alt-P, Alt-M. Sure you set those up, otherwise these buttons won't work. And once in a while, when you start a new test or even starting out fresh, what you want to do is go up under Tools, Global Variables, and dump all this stuff out of here. Because a lot of times if your computer crashes or you lose connections or it shuts down erratically, you could leave junk in here that could affect how your trades will kick off when you open them up. So it's best to go in here and delete all this junk out of here. Clean it out once in a while. Turn it back off. So I think that about covers everything.
Yeah, you did a very thorough job, Gene.
Go ahead,
Thanks,
Roger.
Gene.
Take her back, Roger. It's all yours. Roger's going to show you a little bit of how he did it today, how this worked out. We'll be doing testing this week, and if everything goes good, these may be available by the end of the week. If otherwise, they'll be available in a week or two. It just depends on. We like to get things thoroughly tested. We don't want to put something out on the market that's not working just right. And everybody who has already purchased the version 1C will get this version 2C automatically, no charge. And there's always a possibility we're thinking about the price. There will maybe a price increase on the version 2 for once it becomes available. So go ahead, Roger. Thank
you very much, Gene. That was awesome. As Gene said there, we're like the Orchid Man or the Terminex. You know, we want to make sure we work all the bugs out before we release the product. So that's what we're going to be doing this week, and I'm going to show you some results here in a second here. Let me get the screen back from Gene. And all right, You guys see my screen? AITG staff, you see my?
Yep.
I see
looks
it.
good. Looks good, Roger.
All right. Yeah, after I get done doing a quick show and tell on my testing results, I'm gonna open up the attendees' mics here for any questions before we close it down for the night. I know it's running a little bit over our time here, but this was pretty important stuff we wanted to share with you guys.
I saw Earl Smith raise his hand a minute ago.
Oh, you had a question? What was his question, Dan?
I don't know. He didn't type in a question. He just
Okay.
raised his
Hey,
hand.
Earl, you just hold off for a second. We're gonna open up the mics here in about 5 minutes or less. All right. Okay. This is the daily Haas 1 hour one and done that I've been showing for quite a while now. I've made a modification last week where I've lowered my target of my equity lock and increased my lot size. So kind of increase my reward, but lower my exposure time and my risk, hopefully. And so far, you can see it's doing pretty well. I'm going to switch over to my other computer now, and I'm going to show you how well the Rincos are doing and the heat map by itself with no other charts on. I'm pretty excited about that. So give me a second here, and we'll switch screens one more time. All right, let's see here. And we are going to 6.5. All right, let's see here. Give me a second to let refresh. All right. Okay, so what we're looking at here is there's no charts on. I have all my charts closed. This is strictly heat map action. And this started, let's see, yesterday, beginning of the broker week. Last night, my starting balance was $2,000, and I'm trading $1 a pip. So far, in a 24-hour period, it's taken 3 baskets for a total of 213 pips.
Cool.
That's not bad. That's humble beginnings, wouldn't you say, Dan?
Yeah, and you're on the 4 hour.
Yeah, this is on the 4 hour. Now I have a 1 hour test and a daily test. I'll be posting all these results here later on tonight on the Forex Factory and continuing to post these on a daily basis. All right. So this is really a phenomenal tool here, this heat map. And as Gene was pointing out at the end of his presentation there, I think the heat map with another trading system, using the heat map as a filter for the trading systems, man, would really weed out some of those trades that contribute to your drawdown. Now you can see right here my max net equity is 108 pips. Max equity drawdown is 73. That's a good reward to risk ratio there. My book, anything better than 1-to-1 is good. All right. So that is that. Nothing else to show here. Let me switch screens here. Give me a second. And flip some things around here. All right. Now we're going to go to 214. This is the Rinco setup that Gene showed. And Rincos are like, I don't know, like a Humvee. You either fall in love with them right off the bat or you hate them. And I've been trading for about 15 years and messed with Rincos off and on, and running into traders that swear by them, that love them, and then run into traders that hate them. And I think it's just personal preference. What I like about the Rincos is that it's not a time chart but a volume chart. These are set on 20 pip Rinco bars. It's taken 1 basket so far since last night. For 112 pips, it's working on its 2nd basket. It's up 35 pips right now. And what's remarkable about this, again, talking about exposure time to the market, or you want to limit your exposure time to the market. One way to limit the exposure is number of trades. This thing, the first basket was only 3 trades. There was a trade here, and there was one trade here. There was three trades that got me 112 pips last night. I thought that was pretty awesome. And right now, I'm working on 3 open trades right now and up 34 pips. So
Cool.
just to see the chart in action here, it's just unbelievable. The simplicity of this type of trading. I love it. So I know I can't remember who it was. When I turn the mics on, I'm sure one of y'all are a Rinko fan. So we'll identify that person here in a minute. But so that's what I'm going to show right now. And again, the rest of the results I'll post here shortly after the webinar.
Could you show us the settings there, Roger? Are you using a fixed take profit, a fixed stop loss, or what? Or jumping or a fixed take profit?
I think, let's see here. Let's open this up there. I'm using a 50 pip take profit.
Okay.
And I'm using the jumping stop loss.
Ah, okay. That's what I thought. Yep, looks good.
Thank you for reminding me, sir.
That's with 20 pip bars.
20 pip bars, that's correct. Yep. Again, the bar size is personal preference. Experiment with this. I've used wrinkles before on 50 pip bars. It kind of emulates the daily time charts, or close to it.
Look at that one, Roger, down at just below your pointer there, that fractal. Look at that one. Man, that would have been a monster gain.
Yep, you would have got in right here. There was a breakout long line right here, and you would have got in at the close of this bar right here, and well, you would have definitely made your if you would have had your take profit for 50 pips turned off, you would have gone up 386 pips.
That's one day. That's one day.
That's not bad. I'll take that once a day.
That was a good day.
That was a very good day. All right, I'm going to switch back to the other screen here, and I was one thing I wanted to. I'll turn on the mics, and then we'll take some questions if there are any. All right, back to the other computer.
Just don't take all the money, Roger. We leave a little for the rest of us, will you?
Well, Gene, they say that there's over $12 trillion out there exchanged every day on this Forex market. I think I would be pretty greedy if I took it on, didn't leave anything for you. I'm sorry, you're the master. I have to leave something for you. All right, I was going to show something on, what was it? Something. Oh. You guys know how when you get old, you have these data dumps in your brains, you just forget? Maybe it'll come back to me. I'm going to turn the mics on now and give you guys an opportunity to pipe in any questions and or just say hi and maybe get some feedback and some comments. What do you think? How y'all doing tonight? For those who have a mic.
Oh yeah, mine's on.
How you doing, Lawrence?
Fine, thanks.
So what do you think of that? What do you think of that powerful presentation Gene gave?
He always gives good stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos. He's a nice, softly spoken person, but he pulls a punch.
I heard that some people on Forex Factory called Gene the pip whisper.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, they thought they sounded like Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Oh yeah, in his soft voice maybe. And
Clint Eastwood as the pip whisper. There you go. Hey,
Earl Smith just wrote in and said, great seminar.
Yeah, thank you, Earl. Oh.
Yeah, I haven't got any questions. But yeah, I'm just soaking that all in.
Yeah, so keep in mind, you guys who have already purchased and are members of this great product, will get this free upgrade. Oh, look at that!
Ooh.
I'm done for the day on this one.
You just said again. Yeah.
I guess I can go to sleep now, right?
You're just working too hard, Rogers. You're working too hard.
Too hard.
Cut down that stress a little bit.
But no, stress-free, right? But so anyway, you guys who already have version 1, you will get version 2 in the email, along with, since you already have the Haas trading system, you won't get that. But just for anyone who hasn't bought yet, just want to put this little plug out. Get it now, get it while it's hot, version 1, and you save yourself at least, some dollars there, because there will be a price increase in version 2. We haven't determined that yet. It will be a modest, well, should I say, a humble to modest price increase, but there will be an increase there. But if you buy now, get version 1, you'll get version 2 at no additional cost, along with that Haas trading system.
And of course, when the later people who don't already have this original one, when they buy the version 2, in fact, well, the new trading systems will also be for sale.
Yeah, right. We'll be coming out with those two other trading systems, the Renko, which I love, and also the Marco lines, which is very successful too so far. Dan is testing; he's in charge of that, and I'm in charge of the Renkos and the Heatmap. So keep an eye on Forex Factory and watch our post as we go through the week, and you'll have a good idea if we don't. We're continuing to post, and that means that we have no bugs. Again, we want to make sure that there's no bugs in this. We want to run it through all the widgets and gadgets and buttons and everything to make sure that it's a clean, free product for you guys.
Just one question.
Yes, sir.
What's the estimated price for each TS?
The TSs are going to come in right now at what we have at $49.
Okay.
All right, well that's a pretty humble price there for to just expand your trading ability there.
Yep, that's fine.
Adds a lot of power.
Mm-hmm. So which one do you like the best there? Who was the Renko guy?
Well, I've traded Renkos before, but yeah, I come and go with Renkos. I'm a bit like you.
Yeah, I'm hot at them now. I'm telling you what.
I was actually just trading them recently, actually. So yeah.
The Renkos are so much easier on the eyes to read versus a time chart. It's much easier.
I should throw you
the
my
dashboard
cards.
makes it so much easier to build them too. Before you had to, build them one by one, and it was a headache. You couldn't possibly build 28, and with the dashboard, you can watch 28 of them. And you got 56 charts there. Oh man! Before it was really a mess.
Oh my gosh, Lawrence, if you worked with Renkos before, like I did, and had to build the charts one at a time, I think it would take me like 2 hours to build all the charts.
Well, I use TradingView. You just flick a switch, and it's Renko.
Yeah, I'm always been an MT4 guy. You get stuck.
I got a leg in both baskets, so I'm all right.
You're a smarter man than I am. So. All right then. Well, if there's no other questions, we're gonna call it a night. It's getting late here, and I got to go finish shoveling the snow off my driveway. Still got 2 feet of snow. Well, I got less than 2 feet now, but 2 feet of snow last week, Lawrence. Can you believe that?
No. Yeah, I told you my power pole went down, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yep.
No
All
snow
right,
here.
guys. What's that?
No snow here. Actually, it's quite warm.
Yeah, and you're in wintertime too.
Yeah, nearly winter, and it's still 20.
Mm.
That's Celsius, that is.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for attending, and we will we'll see you here on Forex Factory, or we'll see you here Wednesday night, whoever can make it, and we'll see you in the future.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You guys have a good night. I'll just miss you one at a time, or you can click yourselves off.